We're going to learn more about fine motor skills and gross motor skills. So, fine motor skills are more things that are use our smaller muscles and within our hands. So, some examples of that would be cutting with scissors. These are more safety scissors for smaller folks, but using scissors, using the muscles in our hand in order to move them. Using a book. This is also for younger children. So this is like a paper book. It's actually also chewable, which is important for infants and toddlers who are often oral motor and explore their environment by using their mouths. So being able to flip the pages and also using an index finger to point would also be examples of fine motor skills. Other things might be stacking cups that you can stack like this, or nesting cups where you can nest them together. Not only is this cognitive development, being able to put the smaller into the bigger, or put the smaller on top of the smaller cup on top of the bigger cup. It's also the ability to manipulate and move this with our fingers, which also makes this a fine motor skill. Other ones might be, so for example, I have these lacing cards that look like this, being able to grasp with your fingers and being able to poke it through the hole and pull it out, all examples of fine motor skills. For our older children, good examples would be beading. So in here, I have my own kids' beading kit that they have so that you can make beads like this. This would be for a younger child, maybe in preschool or an older toddler. So this is a pipe cleaner with larger beads that we typically call pony beads, but they're fairly large. As they get younger, as they get older, you can see it's a much smaller bead and they might put it on thread, which is not as like strong and secure as that other forms of bracelets that we make. So this would be something for like an early elementary school age child. Once again, because they're grasping and holding that, that is a form of fine motor skills as well. As we get older, being able to take the top off something and write with something, that is all. And then this is a fairly chubby marker. So then we would get to something smaller as well. So being able to grasp a pen with your hand, a younger child will grab it like this. Sometimes they'll turn it over like this, and then it'll kind of be in an inverse grasp, but holding it and grasping it with their whole hand. And then as they get older, transitioning to using all of their fingers, and then maybe the more adult grasp. All of this is fine motor skills that we'll see across our lifespan, the ability to hold something and when we're younger, holding it like this, and then transitioning all the way to how we'll use it as we're, adults and teenagers and things like that. What is gross motor skills? Gross motor skills is more like large muscle. So arms, legs, core. So anything kind of usually involving a ball, right? So this is a volleyball. So being able to throw, to spike, to catch, to pick it up off the ground, to dive and grab it. All of those are gross motor skills. If this was a soccer ball, running, kicking, sliding, the goalie being able to move themselves and their core a lot in order to kind of stop something. Footballs, any kind of like ball that we might use, this is probably going to be a lot of gross motor skills. Same with things. I brought one of my kids' running little participation awards that they got. So the ability to run starts off with the ability to kind of sit, to crawl somewhere and to pull to stand independently, to take those first halting walking steps. Then we'll be able to walk fast. Then we try to get around obstacles. Then we are eventually running when we're technically running for a brief moment in time, both our feet kind of leave the ground. So being able to get to an actual running takes a lot of gross motor development in order to get to that ultimate step of running. Similar with fine motor skills to how do we hold a pen from our youngest stages all the way to our oldest stages. So with running, there's a lot of complex gross motor abilities and skills that we're building until we get up into running. Other things might be for our older kids would be lacrosse, rock climbing, jujitsu or karate, anything that uses our very large muscle groups, arms, legs, and core, shoulders as well. Our fine motor and our gross motor are interrelated. So if you have bad handwriting, like me, one great way to work on our handwriting, which is a fine motor skill, is actually to strengthen our shoulders by doing handstands or just putting pressure on our hands, any kind of weight on our hands. Also at the park, being able to do like the monkey bars or just hanging or chin ups or pull ups are all great ways to strengthen our shoulders, which will eventually help us strengthen these small motor muscles, which are in our hands, which are kind of our fine motor skills. So they are related, but they're two different skills and abilities. And so you are going to work on that in this discussion board. So you're going to need to know what gross motor is and fine motor skills. And then you're going to kind of pick a physical milestone. Then you're going to tell me activities that you could do at home that are fun, cheap, free, awesome, fun things that kids can playfully do to encourage either a gross motor skill or a fine motor skill early on in life. Thank you so much. Hope you'd enjoyed it.